Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me make sure I am live before I get started. Hope you guys are doing well on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. Very busy, but very beautiful Monday. Let me see here. Make sure I am live. Looks like I'm live over on Facebook. Looks like maybe I am live over on YouTube. Welcome in. I hope you guys can hear me okay. If you guys can just let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. I'm not using a mic because I feel like every time I use a mic when I'm on this platform, that's when I have glitches. So I'm going to try to not use a mic and just use my natural mic. So let me know if you can hear me. I appreciate you guys all being here with me on this Monday. We already have people coming in the chat. I appreciate you being here. Let's see here. All right, I'm assuming you guys can hear me because I don't see any comments saying you can't hear me. So let me see who's in the chat. Welcome in, Kiara J. Travels. Appreciate you being here. Happy Monday to you. Welcome in, Bryce. Happy Monday to you as well. Gaynell, thank you so much for being here. It's good afternoon. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. Yes, yes, it was a beautiful weekend here. But before I start, you know what? Because there might be some new people here. I am RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and this is our Monday Midday Cruise Q&A where I answer your cruise questions. If you are new, you probably don't know that I cruise pretty regularly, preparing to actually board my 90th cruise here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And so I like to go live on Mondays when I'm not cruising to answer cruise questions that you may have. As the owner of Major Adventures Travel, where we focus solely on helping you plan your cruise vacations. A lot of times I get questions from people that don't book their agency or that just have general questions about cruising or interested in it. And I can't always answer those questions on social media or if I get emails or calls. So I like to go live to answer that. So if you have any general questions or questions about cruising, excursions, ports, this and that, whatever, go ahead and start dropping those in the chat. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. I have cruised pretty much all the mainstream cruise lines. I'm now branching off into luxury and river cruising. So I'm pretty knowledgeable when it comes to cruising. So I'm here to help you. If you have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. And if you are new here, we pretty much share at least 1 to 2 cruise vlogs every week on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe, follow along. We are on the road. We're about 400 subs away from 40,000. So I'm excited to be hitting that milestone here soon. And I hope to hit it before I get on our next cruise or my next cruise, which is in about 2 weeks. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you're already subscribed, double check that you are subscribed because sometimes YouTube acts a little funny and unsubscribes people. But welcome in, everyone. Savvy Voyages, welcome in. Appreciate you being here, Sammy. Thank you so much for your support. Christine, welcome in. Good afternoon to you. Drea, welcome in. Welcome in. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Welcome in, Melanie. Thank you for being here. Esther, welcome in. Says good afternoon. Prince Daniel. I'm doing well. Hope you are doing well. Let's see here. Cassandra, welcome in. Loretta says hello from San Antonio. Yeah, the weather here, actually, the weather's been a little funny, but it was so beautiful this week. And it was like 75 degrees the last few days. And then we had some cold weather. So it's actually warm today. It's about 73. It's going to be warm today, warm tomorrow, and then it's going to drop again. So it kind of has me in like a little flare up of fatigue and this and that because of the weather changes. But I enjoy when it's almost springtime and, with the daylight savings time and all that changing. I love this time of year when it starts to warm up and you get a little bit more daylight. So I appreciate that. I know a lot of people are probably exhausted today because of that time change, but I love when that time changes because then you get more daylight. Is it Vernisha? Welcome in. Says I can hear you on YouTube. Well, thank you so much. Norels, welcome in. I appreciate you guys being here. Says shout out to Ron. Ron is in his office working right now. He's probably listening in, but I'll tell him you said hello. Prince Daniel says, I enjoyed your video. Keep up the awesome work. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. The latest vlog that just released was my Norwegian Gem. Now, this was from October, the end of October, but I wanted to get that out. I'm so behind in getting content out. You guys know I took 22 cruises last year, so I still don't have all of those cruises out. So I just released Norwegian Gem, more so because I have a group cruise. We have a group cruise next year on Norwegian Gem to Greece. So I wanted to at least share that to give our group members, an idea of what the ship looks like, what to expect on the ship. So there's one more part to that because it was just a 3-night sailing. That will be out probably Wednesday, I think. My editor's working. Let's see here. Camellia, welcome in, says, hello, I've never missed one of your lives. I thank you so much. I appreciate that since I work at my hospital taking lunch. Well, we appreciate all that you do and thank you for tuning in. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First question for the chat says, do you need a neat card or sign and sell card on Celebration Key? So if you guys don't know, Celebration Key is Carnival's latest private destination. It is located in Freeport or Grand Bahamas. And so you could do either or. So everyone that sets sail and has a port stop at Celebration Key will receive one, what is it called? Not Street Eats. What is it called? Island Eats. You'll receive one Island Eat voucher per person, and that's going to get you food at some of the food trucks and the kiosks that they have there. So you get one meal included with your Island Eats. Anything else, you can use either your sign and sale card or your debit credit card. Some of the vendors do not take sign and sale card. For instance, the donut shop. Outside of, if you guys saw my video for the donut shop, outside of your Island Eats, which will get you, I think, 4 donuts, you'll pay with your card. So I would say it doesn't hurt to have a credit card when you get to Celebration Key because some of the vendors don't take sign and sale. For the most part, they do. But also, if you're going to shop like in the little Bahamian village, a lot of them, because they're pretty much collecting the profit from what they sell, it'll have to be a debit or credit card. Welcome in, Rochelle and Curtis. Thank you so much for being here. On the Go with Yellow, welcome in, welcome in. I was watching your London solo date night video earlier this morning. I appreciate you being here. LF McKinley, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you so much. Happy Monday to you. Let's see here. Cruise Chat with Amanda. I appreciate you being here. Says, I loved your video on NCL Gem. The specialty dining looked amazing. What were your thoughts on the older ship? So the specialty dining was delicious. What I had, it was Orchid Garden. Delicious. I would probably rank that meal in the top 5 of specialty dining that I've been for any cruise ship. It was really good, but I love that type of food. So it was good. I especially love the soup that I had. But Norwegian Gem, it is an older ship. Again, we are sailing this one to Greece next year. It'll be out of Athens, and it's a one-way cruise, Athens to Ravenna. And so I didn't select this ship because of the ship. I selected it because of the itinerary. Norwegian Cruise Line has some older ships that operate some amazing itineraries. So I selected this for the itinerary. I will be honest in saying that the older ships aren't necessarily my favorite for Norwegian, but this ship was very updated. There weren't really any issues anywhere. The cabins are a little bit smaller, a little bit older. So that's kind of where you see the age on Norwegian Gem. But a lot of the lounge spaces look newly updated. Pool deck is nice. So there really weren't any complaints as far as the ship itself. Now, my complaint, which you will see, and guys, regardless if I have a group with 58, 59 cabins currently, I'm always very honest about my experience. You will see in the next vlog that I did not like the buffet at all. I felt the food to be just poor quality, and I'll highlight that and share that in the next video. So my only complaint or issue from Norwegian Gem was the buffet. The main dining room was pretty decent, and then all of the specialty dining, because I think I dined at Cagney Steakhouse, and there was another restaurant, and those were good. So my recommendation would be to make sure you have the More at Sea or the Free at Sea so you can get some specialty dining. Now, of course, when you cruise abroad, a lot of times those menus might be a little bit different, and it could be a totally different experience as far as the quality of food cruising abroad. So I wasn't a fan of the buffet, but everything else on the ship, the entertainment was great. They had lots of activities. And I'm comparing this to Norwegian Sky. If you guys followed me, I sailed on Norwegian Sky 2 years ago, I think. It was a quick 3-day repositioning cruise from Dominican Republic to Miami. And I did not like that ship. I did not like that sailing. It's probably one of my least favorite cruises of all time. This was not that. It was very different vibe, very relaxing, but they had a lot of activities, and the food overall outside of the buffet was pretty good. Welcome in, Sheila from Wyoming. Thank you so much for being here. I am Jay Monique says, what area are you guys in? We live in Ohio. We are in Ohio. We are not down south. A lot of people think we live in Florida because we cruise so much. No, we catch flights a lot. That's all that is. On the Go Table says it's nice here today. I will take it. Expecting snow again later in the week. All right. And guys, I'm going to say this too. If you are, I tend to alternate or try to do cruise Q&A as well as travel agent content creator Q&A. We're going to kind of combine it because I'm actually going to cancel next Monday's Monday Midday Cruise Q&A. Not because I'm going to be on a ship, but because I will be part of a live stream later in the evening on next Monday, and doing two live streams is just a lot in one day. So I'll be doing a live stream on next Monday in the evening with Carlene See It With C, as well as the other host that's part of our New Orleans group cruise. If you want to learn more about that group cruise and that experience for our Ultimate Land and Sea experience, I will be live next Monday, I think 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Carlene See It With C's channel. So we'll share more of that information out later this week. So if you have questions regarding cruising, content creation, travel agent, feel free to ask. I was planning on making next week that combined, but I said, you know what, I'm going to cancel that one so that I can do that live stream. Welcome in, Iris. Hola to you. Thank you so much for being here. From Texas. Yeah, we're not in Texas. My husband's from Houston. He lived in Houston for a long time. Akira says, we're finally going on our first royal cruise for spring break on the Utopia. I wanted to know if you think y'all had enough time to experience everything on the 3-day sailing. No, we didn't. It's hard with those larger ships to really experience and enjoy. Now you can touch, every corner of the ship within 3 days, obviously, but to truly enjoy it, it's kind of hard to do in a 3-day cruise. And Utopia is pretty upbeat compared to some of the other royal ships. So there's going to be a lot of activities and a lot to cover in 3 days. So I would say plan accordingly. The do not miss would be the Aqua Show. If you can get scheduled for the Aqua Show, I would highly recommend doing that. What else was on Utopia that I really enjoyed? I feel like that was so long ago. I would definitely say the Aqua Show, but yeah, I enjoyed it. But like I said, 3 days, and I think the sailing we were on was actually 4 days, and even the 4 day sailing, I was kind of like, it's a huge ship, so I would say depending on your ports, this is a time where I might skip a port just to experience more of the ship. Let's see here. Drea says, the Royal Caribbean drink package, does the extra $5 charge for the Royal Caribbean Cup apply for package purchases after March or sale dates after March? If you already purchased your, what Dre is referring to is Royal Caribbean last week, I think it was, they changed their premium drink package. So typically when you purchase the premium drink package, which includes alcoholic beverages, soda, all of that, you would get included a cup that you can use at the freestyle machines on board the ship. They've now changed that. They still will have the freestyle machines, but now you pay an additional $5 for the cup, or you can get sodas from the bar. Me personally, sorry, that's Dice is coming in. Me personally, I'm okay not using the freestyle machine because I don't think it ever tastes that good anyways. I would prefer to have a canned soda, so I would just go to the bar and get it. So if you purchase before it was announced, you're good to go. It'll still be included. Now, I can't promise you that there's not going to be issues on the ship where they're going to be confused on whether you paid for it, when, and what have you. But if you already, my understanding is if you already paid for it before that announcement was made, you're good regardless of when your sailing is. But if you purchase it after that announcement, then it's not included. But there will probably be some issues on board with people, not knowing when people booked or whatever. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but that's my understanding as of now. Let's see here. Welcome in, your sis Cassandra. Appreciate you being here, and welcome into the 131 people watching. I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and this is my Monday Midday Cruise Q&A where I answer all of your cruise questions. But we're going to open this one up if you have cruise questions, content creation questions, or travel agent questions, because I won't be live next Monday because I'm doing another live stream next Monday. But I appreciate you guys being here. Ginger5 says, welcome from Southeast. Hello everyone from Southeast Michigan, where we are welcoming the spring light warmth. Yes, I am enjoying the warmth as well. IMJ Monique says, is cash better than cards? No, most vendors aren't going to accept cash. Some of the local vendors, like at the straw market area, they might take cash, but for the most part, card, because you can't even use cash on the ship. The ships are cashless. You're going to do everything using your sign and sell card. And so yeah, I wouldn't go taking cash there. Let me see. Am I still live on Facebook? I think I am. Just want to make sure that I'm there with you guys. All right, perfect. Will MSC send luggage tags like Carnival? MSC should send luggage tags like Carnival, but a lot of times they don't. It doesn't happen automatic. Sometimes it happens automatically. You get one of two things with MSC, and I sell a lot of MSC, and so you're gonna get one of two things. Either you're gonna get way too many emails from MSC about all kinds of things, purchases, this and that, checking in for your cruise, luggage tags, all of that, or you're gonna get nothing. And I don't know why that is. Like I think you're booked with me. If you're booked with me, then I will send you your luggage tags, but they sometimes they come automatically. I stopped for a minute limiting what I was sending to clients from MSC because they were overly sending things and clients were losing things or not saying things because there was just too much information. So yeah, you will get luggage tags, but only after you check in. So 30 days before your cruise, you can check in. Once you check in, then your e-ticket is issued. Sometimes it happens automatically, and sometimes it happens even while you're in the app, so you can get your luggage tags right there. But it just seems so hit or miss. So yeah, I don't know. Coco Travels, welcome in. Says hi, loving all the content. Well, appreciate you being here. Let's see here. It says I prefer the newer ships as well. Norwegian Luna is coming up. Yes, Norwegian Luna is. Did it set sail from the transatlantic already, or is that coming this week? Alicia, welcome in, welcome in. Says hello, first time catching a live and well. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Says I love the backdrop of the fam. Yeah, those are our mixed tiles. I love those. We have a bunch of those in our house, so it's time for me to probably start updating some of those. So these are kind of old. Welcome in, Will G. Appreciate you being here. Tiffany says, "Go Buckeyes!" Yes, yes. And Dice will be attending the Ohio State University in the fall. So I'm probably referring to my post that I made this past week, and he's going to be studying psychology. So we're really excited for him. Ellis McKinley, good question, says if you're traveling international and have annual insurance, would you also get the cruise line insurance just to be covered? Me personally, for the most part, I do. That's usually a trip where you don't have to. Because remember, the insurance is there in case something happens. For me, those are the trips because those are usually a little more expensive. So there are times where I will have the cruise lines insurance as well as my annual policy that I have. But just check to see what your coverage levels are, because if your primary insurance will cover the cost of your trip and you feel like there's enough medical coverage, medical evacuation coverage, then you're good to go. I just feel like a lot of times when I cruise abroad, that I kind of cap out my annual policy. And so I like to have the cruise lines insurance just as a backup. So I tend to do that. But of course, you don't have to. Just kind of know what your maximums are for your annual policy to determine whether you might need to have an additional one. On the Go to Yellow says, do you know if they will refurbish your dry dock? I don't know. I don't know. I know that they pulled a lot of sailings offline, and I want to say it was maybe 2 or 3 months worth. That might be a dry dock, but I haven't checked for sure. Um, Roselle says, do you have a favorite cruise director? I love Dr. Reverend E on MSC. He would be one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites. Um, I like Lee. He's now promoted to like fleet director or something for Carnival. And I loved her name is Georgia. She's no longer with Carnival because she just had a baby. But her name is Georgia. And why I love Georgia is because we've cruised with her 3 times and she was on Carnival. Um, Loved her energy, but she really had a great connection with Andrew. So from the very first sailing we were on with her, and I think it was 3 different ships. She just happened to, and I remember the second time we boarded the ship, she remembered him by name. You know, anytime she would do like a dance party or whatever, she would make sure that he was front and center. She would call him out by name. So personally, Georgia would probably even rank higher than Dr. E just because of her connection with Andrew. But I love Dr. E as well. Cruise Chat says, which live streaming software are you using? Right now, I'm using Melon app, which I think is Streamlabs. Yeah, Streamlabs. So it's Melon app, Streamlabs. I have the basic package, so I can't do all the fancy things. I just need something to go live. I like going live directly on YouTube But the issue is, we have a large audience on Facebook. So we have 80, almost 88,000, I think, on Facebook. And so I was trying to find a platform that would allow me to stream on multiple areas. So right now I'm streaming live on Facebook as well. I did just do my first TikTok live last week, which I will go live on TikTok again this week. But right now I'm using Melon app, which is part of the Streamlabs company, I guess. Let's see here. Janielle, is it Janielle? Says, hey, hon, I have a question. How do you keep from getting sick on these cruises? I've been on 10 and seem to get sick after almost every time. You know, the funny thing is, I actually have a very weak immune system. I have some autoimmune conditions, and I rarely get sick. I think I do it so much now that I've built up some immunity. Um, but I'm also very, I sanitize constantly, I scrub down my cabin. I'm the type too, when I go to the buffet, I sanitize before getting my food, and I sanitize before I eat my food, because people think, oh, I sanitize and I'm touching the tongs. Well, remember, there's a lot of people there that didn't sanitize or wash and touch the tongs. And now I'm going to go pick up a guy's burger and bite into it with those tongy fingers, so I sanitize and do all that before I even eat. So I don't know, I think I've built up immunity because I'm always on a cruise ship, I feel like. And yeah, so I'm glad for that, because in the beginning I was getting sick, and I just feel like it's very rare that I come home and I feel sick. Let's see here. Says, I hate that I can't make the New Orleans group cruise. Disabled cruiser and finding fully accessible cabins midship is extremely tricky and highly frustrating. Yes. And it's not that they don't exist, they just sell out quickly. And I can tell you, on Carnival Valor, pretty much all of their accessible cabins are either front or back of the ship. They might have a couple midship, but they just sell out so quickly. And that's why I tell anyone that requires a fully accessible cabin or even accessible cabin, book early, because they're limited. They're limited, especially on the older ships. I feel like the newer ships are building more accessible cabins, but Carnival, no, why am I saying Carnival Valor? Carnival Valor is currently out of New Orleans. We're going to be sailing on Carnival Dream. Carnival Dream is still an older ship. And so a lot of the older ships just weren't built with a lot of accessible cabins. So yeah, they're either forward or aft. And yeah, there's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. Um, Kiara says, I reserved shows in an early boarding time, thankfully. Probably going to stay on her for Nassau. Yes, that's what I would do. I would get off for Perfect Day at Coco Cay if that's one of your stops, which more than likely is. And I would probably stay on for Nassau. I'm always one that will get off in Nassau. No problem. I love it there. But if it's a new ship or a ship that I feel like I can't really experience the way I want to on a 3-night sailing, 4-night sailing, that is the port that I will skip. Kiara says, that's my understanding of the Cup 2. My sailings after 3:15, but bought the deluxe package beforehand. So we'll see what happens when I board. Yes, that is my understanding. But it's going to be hard to enforce that once on board. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. It says, Happy Monday. I'm going on my third Carnival cruise, April 13th on Carnival Legend. Can I get assistance navigating the ship? I'm visually impaired. So this is the thing. You would definitely want to, this is where, working with the travel advisor is helpful. You'd want to contact their guest access department. They aren't going to have someone that will like guide you around the ship, but they may have some resources for you. Sometimes they will work with you if you need to bring somebody like an escort or someone to assist. Some cruise lines, depending on like if you need a translator or if you need sign language, sometimes they'll provide that to you. As far as being visually impaired, they're not going to provide someone to help you, but they might have some resources for you as far as how you can get about the ship, and provide resources to you that way. So reach out to their guests. It's not called guest access for Carnival. Yes, it is guest access for Carnival, and they can guide you and assist you with what you might need. Welcome in, Team Reese Travels. Appreciate you being here, Kiki. Thank you so much. And again, I'll be live with Kiki on Monday, so that's why I'm not going to be live here, because I'll be live on Carlene's live stream to discuss this New Orleans group cruise, which I'm really excited for. But welcome into the 182 of you guys watching. I appreciate you guys spending part of your Monday here with me. And if you are new here, if you would not mind hitting that subscribe button. Again, we are so close to hitting 40,000 subscribers. Think it'll happen in the next 2 weeks. So that's our goal. That's our hope. So if you could come along, we would love for you to join us. Let's see here. Hello from Georgia. Is SAS reliable mode of transportation from Port of Miami to Fort Lauderdale? I'm not familiar with that. I personally, I think I've heard of it. I just haven't used it. I honestly have not found a reliable company that is like that doesn't change up out of Miami to Fort Lauderdale and vice versa. So me personally, I just ride share because a lot of times it's cheaper to ride share. Or sometimes, when I leave the ship, if I see a shuttle service, sometimes you can talk them down. Like they might be like, oh, it's $30 per person. I'm like, hey, I got $20. And they'll let you hop in. So, I'll do that. But as far as like a company from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, I personally don't know of one that I would say there are a lot of mom and pop spots and they change up so often. So I really don't know. But I might try them because someone else mentioned SAS before. I might try them on an upcoming sailing just to see how it works. Rochelle and Curtis says, yes, if you purchase before March 15th, we'll retain the previous benefits. But that is only for the deluxe and refreshment package. For the classic soda package, we'll get a souvenir cup. Yes. Thank you. Let's see here. I think I'm skipping over things. Tiffany, welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Family at Sea, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Says, love all the awesome content you create. Looking forward to following along with your cruise adventures in 2026. Likewise, I think I'm really following you over on TikTok. I think maybe I'm following you here too. Guys, I have to be honest, I don't consume as much like YouTube as I create. So I'm trying to get better at, when I'm working, I have YouTube playing in the background, this and that, whatever. I just don't, I feel like I don't have time. But I am following you on TikTok. Saying congratulations to Dice. Appreciate that. Have you ever sailed out of New York with Carnival and went to Bermuda Port? Is there anything to do there? Heading there in September. I've only done it once on Carnival Venencia or Florence. I always forget which one is on the West Coast. Firenze or Venecia, one of the two. I sailed out of New York and went to Bermuda. I loved Bermuda, but I've only been there once. And what did I do in Bermuda? I don't think it was a ship tour. I think I booked through Shore Excursions Group actually, and it was just an island tour. Took us to different spots. We had a beach stop, but it was too cold to get in the water, so everyone agreed to just kind of keep moving. But it was beautiful, and I really want to get back there again. So my plan is to hopefully book one of those itineraries that gets you there for 2 to 3 days. So yeah, I would love to go back to Bermuda. Patricia, welcome in, welcome in. Says this will be my first time going international, the Greece cruise, and I'm very excited. Will you be recommending excursions for Greece? Absolutely, absolutely. So if you followed my last Greece group cruise, what I did is I went ahead of the group. So I was on Celestial Journey solo. I tested out the excursions, the ports, this and that, highlighted those. And pretty much what I did when I was solo is what we did as a group. So I plan to do that same model for this Greece trip. So I was booked for this May, booked, had all the excursions planned, everything. And then we thought Dyson's senior prom was going to be in April, like it had been. Now it's in May. So I had to cancel that trip. And so I'm tentatively rescheduled for September. So then I'll do that and I'll go test out excursions and this and that, what have you. And then I will share with the group kind of this is the plan for the group. Now, with our group cruises, they're very, very like you do what you want to do. This is your vacation. You paid for it. These are my recommendations. And if you want to join us, you are more than welcome to, but nothing is required. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. So once I share out kind of what my plan is for the group, if you need other recommendations or ideas, I'm open to help with that. But for the most part, like our last Greece group, I would say each excursion we had at least half of the group participated in each excursion. So yeah, so it's totally up to you. But yes, of course, I will be sharing some recommendations. It's just too early to do a lot of that. We have so many groups planned. Some for 2027, one for 2028 already. And I'm getting people saying, hey, when am I going to get information on a hotel? Guys, you got to understand, you can't even plan a hotel out usually until a year out. So if we're looking at June of 2027, expect to start getting information starting in like sometime this summer for that group. But welcome in, everybody. Renelda, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Daniel says, I was thinking about a Virgin Voyages cruise, but I wish they had a drink package. How much are drinks on average in case you want to prepay for your drinks? So there is no drink package with Virgin Voyages. It's what they call bar tab. And bar tab is exactly what it sounds like. It is bar tab. So you prepay it. You don't have to prepay. You can just put your credit card or debit card on file and pay for drinks as you go. The benefit to using bar tab is if you purchase, I think like $200 or more, then you'll get, like, if you buy $200 in bar tab, you'll get an extra 25. If you buy $300 in bar tab, you'll get an extra 50. So buying it in advance will get you a little bit of extra, but you could easily just pay for it, on your card or whatever. So, and on average, the drinks were about $16 maybe each, maybe 18, 16 to $18 for a drink, which is pretty typical for a cruise line. Beer, I think they were about $7 or $8. Sodas are 4. Remember, they do have included fountain sodas like Coca-Cola products, but if you want something different, or if you want a canned soda, because me personally, sometimes I just want a canned soda, it's, I think, $4. So hey, you can pre-purchase it. Just know that the bar tab is non-refundable. So only purchase what you think you're going to actually use, because it's not refundable. I remember my first Virgin Voyages cruise. I had so much bar tab, and I think I had it because it was part of the promotion. And so the last night of the cruise, I wound up buying a bottle of wine just because I wanted to spend it. And I think I still wind up leaving that on the ship. But yeah, only buy what you're going to actually use. Um, Christine, Christine says, I have an off topic question. How did you come up with your dog's name? Our dog's name is David Ruffin. And he, thank you so much, Miss Faith81, for subscribing. I appreciate that. I am a Motown fanatic, love Motown, love old school music. Temptations would be my favorite. So, yeah, David Ruffin. We kind of went back and forth. I forgot what Ron wanted to call him initially. I don't know. I don't remember, but we were sold on David Ruffin. Michelle says, I love cruise director Kendall Fire. Yes, I've heard great things. And Ricky, yes, I love Ricky on Royal. He's awesome. I have not cruised with Kendall yet, but I've heard great things. Key Small, welcome in, says, what camera do you use for your vlogs? For the most part, I use a GoPro. I use a GoPro Hero 13 currently, and my iPhone. So I have an iPhone 15. So pretty much what you see, though, that's what I use. I also use a Insta360. So if you see any shots that kind of look drone-like or like it's spinning around a little bit, that's probably my Insta360. But I keep it simple. I don't have a big camera, big mics, anything like that, or lights or anything. I just keep it simple. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh, did it scroll all the way back to the top? I think it did. Sorry, let me scroll back. But welcome into the 188 of you guys watching. I appreciate you guys being here on this Monday. Sorry, scrolling. Let's see here. Sorry, scrolling. What camera do you use for your vlogs? Journey of It All says, hi, RacQuelle and everyone. Did you hear about some people leaving the country having problems with train because their passports are canceled? I've not heard that. Why were their passports canceled? Was there so there, I mean, there are times where things could happen, like if you owe taxes, that could happen. If you have like a court case, that could happen, child support. But I'm not familiar. Like, is this like a widespread problem, or yeah, let me know. I haven't heard that. I honestly don't watch a whole lot of news. Um, I leave that up to Ron, and then he kind of updates me, but I have not heard that. Sheila says, how did you become a travel agent? Good question. I get asked this all the time. So I was not always a travel agent. I was a school principal I was an educator slash school principal for 19 years, probably year 17. This is right during COVID. No, 2019, I took my first cruise and fell in love with it. Thought I needed to make some side money because at the time I was just a school administrator, decent salary, but not enough to really want to cruise and travel the way I wanted to. So I started working with an online phone company or calling service called Arise. And they partnered me with Carnival Cruise Line. So I kind of, on the weekends when I had time, I would pick up intervals or hours to work to just answer questions about Carnival Cruise Line, help people book their Carnival cruise that way. Now, I didn't really make money that way. I did, but it was hourly, let's say $14 an hour or whatever. But I used that money to book like my next cruise, or what have you. And then while I was doing that, I realized I really enjoyed talking about cruises, this and that, what have you. And at the same time, I was also on YouTube posting. I think our first cruise vlog was Carnival Sunrise. And people were like, are you a travel agent? I'm like, no, I'm not a travel agent. But if you call Carnival, you might get me out, I'll book your cruise or whatever. And then I just had this idea of, well, people keep asking me, am I a travel agent? Why not, see about it? So right after COVID, I signed to start up. And then the next day I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. And kind of gave it up for a little bit. And then I think in 2020, the beginning of 2022 or 2021, the end of 2021, I re-signed again and kind of took it from there. Only because at the time I was still enjoying booking cruises. At the time it was just Carnival, and I loved talking about cruising. And then YouTube was starting to take off, and people kept asking, and I'm like, well, let's see where this goes. And it started year one with, I don't know, $50,000 in sales to now well over 2 million in sales per year. So um it was like a no-brainer, and I was able to quit being a school principal or retire early to do this full time. So I do this full time. I'm also a content creator, and I cruise once or twice a month. Thank you, Camelia. It says guest care. Yes, thank you so much. Uh have I cruised Holland? Yes, I've cruised Holland twice. I have another Holland America later for this year. I mean, their tips would be the same as pretty much any other cruise line. It's a different vibe for Holland America. I would say if you have an opportunity, if your ship has the BB Kings Club, make sure you go to that. I That's my spot on Holland. Not every ship has it, but BB King's is my favorite. Make sure you pack something orange because they have a very strong Dutch heritage, and they have an orange night, which is a lot of fun. I would say definitely make sure you pack your orange for that. They have a bar crawl, which I haven't released that video yet, but the bar crawl was surprisingly a lot of fun. I might try to put together that quick reel for tomorrow. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, they have a lot of activities. You just have to, some people will say Holland America is boring because it attracts an older demographic. I don't believe that. They just have different types of activities. So yeah, just check the app to see what they have. If you are on a longer sailing, I would say look at their Have It All package if you don't already have that, because that'll get you drinks, some specialty dining, and some Wi-Fi. So check into that. Thank you so much on the go with yellow. Says hit that like button, everyone. I appreciate that so much. Um, Melanie says, MSC advertised that you get a free birthday cake. My husband's birthday is the day of embarkation. How do we go about setting that up for him? The birthday cake isn't for everyone. The birthday cake is if you've already cruised MSC, and a lot of times it doesn't work if you status match. So if you status match into the program, it doesn't work. But if you have already sailed with MSC and then you sail again, it's only certain tiers. If you look at the MSC, and I can't think off the top of my head, there is a tier where it'll have a birthday cake. Let me tell you that it's so inconsistent, because I've had clients that would receive a really nice size birthday cake with their name on it, whatever. Then I've had some that is just a piece of cake. It seems like they're going toward it just being like a little piece of cake or a piece of dessert, which is not, it's not really a perk, because most cruise lines do something like that. Um, but it's supposed to be flagged automatically. There's nothing that you need to do, nothing that we do as travel agents to do that. There are times where I send a birthday cake for clients, depending on, depending on things. I might send a birthday cake, but a lot of times it's just going to be like a piece of cake, and they'll come sing happy birthday. But that's automatic. They register, they see your birth date, and you're celebrating on board. It can't be, I'm on board to celebrate my birthday, but my birthday was 2 months ago. It doesn't work that way. You have to actually be on board for your actual birthday, and there's certain levels of um, MSC that you get it. I will tell you that I'm diamond with MSC, and I was on board for my birthday, and I didn't get anything. So it's kind of hit or miss. But I would say when you get on board, ask guest services. Maybe they'll put in a request for it. Um, but yeah, there's nothing I could do on my end to activate that. Alicia says, "Do you have any recommendations for a city tour at Amber Cove?" I'm actually going to be working with, and he's probably watching right now. I'm actually going to be working with a local tour provider, for my cruise next month. To see what his tour, and I'll share more information. I don't have one that I personally recommend, but I definitely say do a city tour of Amber Cove or Puerto Plata. A lot of times they will come with the beach stop of some sort. I've done one through Shore Excursions Group. I've done one through Viator. I just don't know the names of those companies off the top of my head, but I would say any. any tour that's going to not be necessarily a walking tour. Pretty much all of the tours in Puerto Plata, they're going to take you to like the little center area where you have like a chapel. There's going to be a cigar stand. There's going to be Umbrella Street, the Pink Street. They're going to take you to like a rum tasting, or what is it called? Um, there's stone there. What is it called? They'll take you to show you about their stone. It'll come to me in a second. So pretty much all of them do something like that. I would say search for one that's going to kind of get you away from that, or give you a little bit of Umbrella Street, Pink Street, but that's going to take you more to the countryside where you probably could get like an authentic meal and then have a beach stop. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing next month, but I'll share more information with that because I'm working with a local tour provider there. Um, Unlearn and Eat says, I hope you're getting the warmer temps today. We are. Do you ever do group cruises for families? Yes. We currently have, like, are you saying planning group cruises for other people? Now we have our own group cruises that we host. If you go to our website, if you go to the tab, it'll say group cruises or what have you. You can go there and it shows you what group cruises we're hosting. But yeah, if you are looking to plan a group, we have, I think last time I counted, about 60 or so groups for clients on the books currently. So yeah, we specialize in groups, helping you plan your groups, whether it's family reunion or just a girls getaway or whatever. If you're looking, now keep in mind a group is 8 or more cabins for most cruise lines. Some people will reach out and say, hey, I want to plan a group cruise, and it's 3 cabins. 3 cabins is great. I'll still help you, but it's not an official group. So if you're looking for 8 or more cabins, then with groups, like I said, there's other perks involved. We will host like a Q&A session with your group, sometimes before people start getting booked, just to give information, especially if they're newer cruisers. And then before you set sail, if requested, we will do another like Zoom call to answer questions. There are, depending on the size of the group, I might actually go on board to actually help host and facilitate things. So it just depends, it varies, but yes, we book lots of groups. I am Monique says, is it too late to get on the Greece cruise? What documents do you need for something like that besides a passport? You just need a passport as of now. There may be a visa that's required closer to sailing. That has not been implemented yet. That's quick, easy to get. But yeah, we have a few cabins left, just a few. So if you are interested, definitely reach out. But I do ask guys, and I say this with the kindness and all the kindness I can muster. Only book if you are serious. I'm just gonna put it out there. We share a lot of groups, but we also get people that are so excited about it initially and they want to do it, or they weren't never serious and they book and then they cancel. And what happens is, and you don't understand this if you're not a travel advisor, is we only have X number of cabins at this rate. So when you book that and then decide, after our group rate has expired, that you don't want to go. I understand life happens, things happen, but we get an influx of people that I feel like they book and then right before final payment, they haven't made any payments, they cancel. And sometimes it's like no reason why they cancel, they just don't want to go now. But what it does is it takes away from somebody else that could have had that cabin. Now that you decided to cancel, it's at the prevailing rate. We can't sell that cabin. So I do ask, and I always ask, when you reach out to us to book a cruise, a group cruise, or even our discounted rates, please, please, only if you're serious, only if you are serious about going. Again, we do understand that life happens. We've had people that have medical or job loss or whatever, or right now, currently, the state of everything that's happening. Some people are just afraid to travel. We get that. We understand that. But there are some people that just get excited and say, I'm going to put my deposit down because it's or because it's refundable. And then they truly didn't have the intention on going. And it really does impact us trying to do these groups and trying to get the best rate for everyone because, they sell up quickly and then we start getting cancellations. So, yeah, definitely reach out. We have a few cabins left right now. We're up to, I think, 58 cabins, and I think I have 65 on hold. And I'll be very honest, I'm holding that many because some people are like, you're going to have a really large group. No, that's not how it works. So out of those 65 cabins, I guarantee you when it's all said and done, it's going to be about 50 cabins. And a lot of those cabins are solo cruisers too. So keep that in mind. That's just kind of the nature of groups. Is it Shamu says, question, I'm a travel agent. I live your content and lives. So I took Royal Caribbean's traveling for the Masters University. They are saying I will receive freebies. One before have you ever done? Are you referring to getting your certificate through Royal Caribbean University? So with that, you get $50 onboard credit once per year, and you get a free device of Wi-Fi once per year. You have to actually go back into the Royal Caribbean University webpage and then redeem it. I think it's like 60 days before you're sailing, you go in to redeem it, and it'll be waiting for you in your cabin. They'll apply the onboard credit and they'll add the Wi-Fi. But as far as like a freebie, as far as like a cruise, that's not a thing for Royal Caribbean. But there are some other little perks there if you've completed that. Patricia says, will you be able to book the excursions for us, or do we book ourselves for Greece? I will share everything you guys need to know for Greece. When it's time to book the excursions, I will have information on whether this is an excursion that we're going to add on through NCL or whether it's me working with Shore Excursions Group. And I will share all of that information as far as how to book or what have you. But you can book your own excursions if you want. I've had some that want to be part of the group, but they don't want to do any of the excursions. I have some people that don't even get off the ship. So whatever you want to do, if you see excursions now that you want to book and plan, you're more than welcome to book and plan those. But the ones for the group, I will share out all that information when the time is right. It is too early to do that now because that group is still 15, 16 months away. So like I said, this summer is when I'll start rolling out more information for Greece. Let's see here. William says, I just started following you. Will you be doing this often on Monday afternoon? Yeah, I do it most Mondays when I'm not traveling. This is preparing to be a busy travel season for me. So probably at least twice, maybe 3 times a month, I go live 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Facebook and on YouTube. And I'm going to start going live on TikTok as well. I just don't know the day. And I may not, I might just pop up on TikTok. I was actually impressed because I had about 90 people join me live on TikTok for my very first one. So that was exciting. Liam, welcome in, welcome in. Says, how's it going? The NCL Gem doesn't look bad. Thanks for showing us the video. I can't wait to go to Greece. Yes, because Liam is booked and ready to go to Greece. INJ Monique says, how do you manage editing all your videos and getting content out consistently? I don't know. I stay busy. Actually, right now, our son Dice is serving as an editor. So for the long format, like the YouTube videos, he's actually editing those for me. He started about a month ago or so, just because I'm so behind in getting content out and just trying to juggle creating content, cruising, traveling, booking travel, doing all kinds of things. It's just a lot. So rather than hire someone to do it, I hired him. So he can get some extra money. So he's doing it. He's doing well. Now, the vertical content that I post, that I share pretty much daily, I don't have a schedule for anything. I just wake up and say, oh, I'm going to share this. Right now, I'm kind of walking through my Virgin Voyages cruise and just sharing any vertical content that I got from that. I'm just putting that out there. But a lot of times it's just, I'm gonna share this, and it's just kind of on a whim, or I'm scrolling through my phone and I see that I have this video that I haven't shared. I'll just share it. Is it Rone Meyer says, hi, if you had to choose between Virgin Voyages and Celebrity, which do you prefer? Ooh, if it's Celebrity Edge class or higher, or Edge class, which would be Celebrity Edge, Celebrity Beyond, Celebrity Excel, Celebrity Ascent, any of those, I would choose those hands down over Virgin Voyages any day. But it also depends on the vibe you're looking for. They are both kind of laid back. Virgin Voyages is going to be more diverse in the sense of lifestyles, ages, race, all of that. Celebrity can be diverse depending on the time of year, but it's not as diverse. So if that's important to you, I would say go Virgin. Food wise, Celebrity, I would say the newer ship Celebrity, they have Virgin Beat for the food, but keep in mind you don't have specialty dining and things like that included. You have to pay for that. So cost wise, I don't know. Sometimes it depends. It depends. I would probably no, because Celebrity has some nice itineraries too. That it's kind of hard. It depends on the vibe you want. I'm gonna say that. But if I had to choose today between Virgin Voyages and Celebrity, I would choose Celebrity Excel because that's a ship that I want to go on next for Celebrity. But if I had a pick between an older Celebrity and Virgin, I'm going Virgin. Miss Faith says, which cruise lines are cheaper to book multiple rooms on that are family friendly? So there's no thing there's nothing with any cruise line that says if you book X number of cabins, you get a discount. So, like, that is, I get that a lot. People are saying, well, if I book 3 cabins, don't I get a discount? No, you don't. Sometimes, even if you book 8 cabins in a group, you still don't get a discount. There's not always a group discount available. So, yeah, there's no cruise line that's going to be cheaper to book multiple rooms. But I would say overall, budget conscious, cheaper cruise line would be MSC. You can get family cabins, you can get, for a nice price, and a great value. So I would say if you're looking to cruise kind of on a budget, I would say MSC even before Carnival, because Carnival used to be deemed like the cheapest cruise line. Carnival's prices have gone up. They've gone way up. So definitely check out MSC. MSC is so underrated. I talk about them all the time. You can get some really good prices there for MSC. Um, what is this? I'm not gonna try to say your name. It says, "What are your recommendations for marketing as a travel advisor?" Don't use the Rallyo. Don't use the Rallyo or the what is the other one? There's two. I can't think of the other one. Rallyo, and there's another one. So if you're marketing on social media, there are a couple of platforms that will automatically share out information to people like on a schedule. I say avoid those at all costs because you're not getting true engagement from those. Every travel agent has access to those. Every travel agent is posting those. And so if you're truly trying to win over clients or trying to get leads, I'm telling you, like when I'm scrolling on my social media, I'll see 10 of those because I'm friends with a lot of travel agents, and I'll keep seeing the same posts, places that they've never visited, places they've never gone, places they're probably never going to go to. And it's just, it automatically posts out. And what it does is it actually hurts your engagement, it hurts your reach. And if you really think about how many times people actually click on that or even like it, really consider that. So I would say to naturally market yourself by constantly talking about whatever you're selling, whether that's through, you don't have to, I tell people, you don't have to be a content creator, you don't have to be a YouTuber to do this. I do think those who are, though, have it a little bit easier as far as getting clients, retaining clients, or what have you. But just constantly talking about what it is that you're trying to sell, it kind of deems you as an expert. Sharing pictures, or if you have videos, or just engaging on, a lot of times people would join these groups on Facebook, engaging that way kind of will help get you. But I would say marketing needs to be your marketing tools. Limit the stock photos, the stock videos, and try to put as much of you book with people, not, because this destination looks pretty or this or whatever. They're looking to see, what you say about that destination, what you recommend, or, any tips or tricks you might have. So sharing a pretty picture is wonderful. But what really gets people excited is when they see that you're excited about something, and that's when people want to plan and book their vacation. So, and that has been a true blessing for our agency, is that, being online, being on social media. Like I said, 95% of my clients are from social media, and from YouTube. Let's see here. Gaynell says, "I know it's too early if we want to start paying for the group cruise in 2028. Should we wait?" No, you can pay. If you're already deposited, you can pay whenever you want to. So yeah, we plan early. And the reason we plan early, one, someone mentioned before, accessible cabins, those things sell out quickly. So I like to plan early so people can get the cabin that they want. Usually the pricing is cheaper, but it also gives you time to pay on it. So Gaynell's talking about our 2028 Sisters Cruising Abroad cruise out of Dubai. That's in 2028, so 2 years away. You got 2 years to, or a little less than 2 years to pay on it. So yeah, if you've already deposited, you can make payments as often as you want. Let's see here. Selena says, "What travel/medical insurance do you use?" I use Allianz. Allianz is my preferred insurance, but it depends. With insurance, it's so subjective. It depends on what you feel is important. For me, what's mostly important for me is the level of medical coverage and medical evacuation coverage. The cancellation is nice. It's nice if I need to cancel, or if something happens and, I'm sick or whatever, but that to me is not as important as the bigger picture, which is the medical and medical evacuation. God forbid if something happened to me. I would want that covered because that's a larger chunk than if I had a $1,500 cruise that I can't take. Not that I want to lose my $1,500, but it's better for me to lose that than to lose, a $20,000 medical bill. So, um, travel medical insurance varies depending on what's important to you, but Allianz is kind of where I go. Let's see. Vanessa says, hello from Chicago. We are going to Tortola, British Virgin Islands on Royal Caribbean December. Any recommendations for things to do? Look, Tortola. I actually have a couple vlogs. Check them out on YouTube. The first time I went to Tortola, I visited, is it Cane Garden Bay? Is that what it's called? It's like the most popular beach there. It's nice. It's a bit overrated. I will say take the taxi or take a tour that gets you there because the scenic overlooks going there. Like the views there are probably some of the best you're going to find in the Caribbean. So you can take a taxi there. Thank you so much. Guys, I forgot I had super chats on this thing. I don't ever get any. But thank you, Nel Deliciosa, I think, for that super chat. I really appreciate that. And guys, any contribution, the likes, the sharing out, the super chats, all of that, it just goes right back into our channel so we can travel and cruise and do what we do. But I appreciate that. Tortola, Cane Garden Bay. It's beautiful, but it's very, very rough there. It's not a good beach for swimming or snorkeling or anything like that, but it is a good beach if you just want to lounge and relax. Restroom facilities are very, very, very limited there, so keep that in mind. You're going to have to pretty much go to a bar restaurant to get a clean restroom. Um, what else? Tortola. If you want to take a ferry to Virgin Gorda, that was the last thing that I did. My last Tortola visit, I went to Virgin Gorda to the baths, which was amazing. Some of the best views there. Now, again, you will have to catch a ferry over. I would say book through Shore Excursions Group for that tour because we were the first ones through the baths, through the caves, and there was no crowd. Loved it. And they strategically planned it so that Shore Excursions Group is the first one through. So I would say check that out. Let's see here. Do you prefer, welcome in Sharice, do you prefer a certain cruise line and what cruise line are you going on this year? I cruise with whatever. Like I don't really have my favorite cruise line currently is Explora Journeys, which is a luxury line. I will be on board I was gonna say next week. In a couple of weeks, I'll be on board for Cheryl. If you guys don't know Cheryl, Sig the Solo Cruiser. She's hosting a group cruise, and I'm part of her group. And I'm taking vacation. That is my vacation. That's how much I love Explore Journey. So if you are a client watching this, just know you're gonna get an email from me probably next week, just saying, "Hey, heads up, I'm gonna be out of office." And when I say out of office, I am out of office. April 1st through the 8th I will be on Explore Journeys, and that's my vacation for the year, my true vacation. So that would be my preference. I do like the more laid back luxury, I think I've done a lot of the upbeat cruising that I'm moving towards other things now, but I don't really have, like, I love all cruise lines. I will say for the family, they love Carnival. We love Carnival. That is still one of our tops. And for this year, I don't know. What have I cruised so far? What have I cruised so far? What month is this? March? I've cruised Virgin. I've cruised Norwegian. I'm preparing to cruise Norwegian again. I've cruised Royal Caribbean. I have Carnival coming up. I have another Explorer Journeys coming up. I have a river cruise coming up. I have a yacht. I haven't shared this yet. I have a yacht coming up. I will share that later. So I'm just all over the place. So there's really not there. I don't have a preference. Whatever cruise line is going to get me to the destination, that's what's important for me. I'm all about ports and destinations versus ships. But I'm on everything this year. Royal Caribbean, another Virgin, two Virgins actually. So yeah, I'm just all over. Puerto Plata also has Christ the Redeemer. Yeah, if you go up the mountain, they have the model of Christ the Redeemer there. Inspiring greatness or inspiring greatness is like had to log in on my device so I can support. I appreciate that. And welcome into the 178 of you guys watching. I'm RacQuelle from MH Family Adventures, and this is my Monday Midday Cruise Q&A where I answer your cruise questions. And if you are new here and you're not subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We have lots of cruise vlogs, informative, port guides, things like that over on our channel. Yes, I do host groups for families, of course. Um, it says, I just got off Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Have you tried Margaritaville at Sea, and what's your thoughts? For the money, I'd rather spend more for another line. Staff was amazing. Fantastic food was met. I would totally agree with you. Hey, Cruising Charlie. I just realized who it was. Yes. I've cruised both Margaritaville at Sea Paradise and Islander. And where I think they're decent for first time cruisers or someone that just wants a quick getaway, the cost of Margaritaville at Sea Paradise and Islander, you might as well cruise Carnival or sometimes, MSC, depending on the cost. You're going to get, better food, a better quality ship, even some of the older Carnival ships. Um, I don't have anything against Margaritaville at Sea Paradise or Islander, but initially they were like really, really cheap and it was nice for people to do a quick getaway, but the costs have gone up on both of those ships. And so when I'm price comparing for my clients, which I don't book a lot of Margaritaville at Sea, honestly, because their TA portal is just not the best. And they're not the best when it comes to guest accessibility. I'm very honest about that. And in fact, if you tell me you have special needs or need assistance for your cruise, I will not book you on Margaritaville at Sea. You'll have to book that on your own, just because I've had too many issues with them when it comes to guest accessibility. And that comes back to the travel agent. If you book somebody in an accessible cabin or do something and then they get on board. I had this happen where a client booked an accessible cabin. They went on board. It wasn't an accessible cabin, but the deck map had it. So I just don't deal with those types of things. So um, I like Margaritaville at Sea. Nice vibe. I like the vibe of them, but it's not a cruise line that I would just ever just recommend. Somebody has to ask me about Margaritaville at Sea for me to book them. Do you have any cruises for 2028? When I see you on Virgin, I get so excited. I would like to try Virgin Voyages. I don't have any group cruises for 2028 outside of our Dubai cruise. I will be actually announcing a really big one for 2028. A destination that I'm going for my 100th cruise later this year. I'll be announcing that probably in May. Um, I probably will have some sort of Virgin Voyages sale with me. I do have a Virgin Voyages sale with me for 2027. It's January 23rd through the 29th on board Valiant Lady. It's out of San Juan. So it's 6 nights, Southern Caribbean, every day is a port. So my husband and I will be hosting that in January. Welcome in, the Cruise Tubers. Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. I think that's a new name. I appreciate you being here. Psych it on NCL Escape in around a week out of NOLA. Week-long cruise. Can't wait. Hope you have a great time. Legendary Old Warrior says, we have 3 large balconies together. We are going to open it up so it's a big deck. Do you know if we can close them back each night before bed? That's not guaranteed. So you have to keep in mind that some cruise ships, they do have it to where the doors can open for the balconies, but they don't always open them. You have to ask your cabin steward. It's not a quick, easy, you can just close the door on your own. They have like a special tool or device that they have to use. Sometimes they have to remove the full panel. Sometimes it depends on the ship. Sometimes it's just a lock that they have to do it. So you can ask your room steward if that's something that they can do each night for you, but it's not even guaranteed that they'll open it. If it's very windy out, they will not open it. I've literally booked people with adjoining balcony cabins so that they could do that and make like a larger balcony. And it didn't work out because of weather conditions. So it's not guaranteed that they'll do that. Sometimes they don't open. And then also sometimes if they open, it's not what you think it is. Some people think when they open up the balcony, like I can literally sit in my deck chair and just make like a large patio here and we're just talking and having drinks. A lot of times it's not set up like that. Usually there's still going to be some sort of privacy, like wall of some sort, but there's like a smaller door that might open or the whole panel might come down, but it still kind of blocks you unless you're sitting right up against the glass. It doesn't always work out. So it depends on the ship. But if you are trying to keep it open or you want them open, you have to talk to your cabin steward and they can do that if it's allowed for your sailing. I honestly feel like a lot of cruise lines are doing away with doing that, because I've had lots of clients that have had issues with trying to have it open and they said they couldn't. And a lot of times it has to do with the weather. Let's see here. Thank you so much. Is it Taryn? Says hello, RacQuelle. My wife and I are big fans from Connecticut. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Says newbie TA here. Congratulations on getting started. Let's see here. Savvy Voyages says very true. Once they start processing flights, excursions, etc., the reality kicks in. Yes, and that's why I say like, and I try to be so nice about it, but I don't want this to ever come across the wrong way. For those that truly have to cancel because life has truly happened. Totally get that. But I will tell you that I've had some that just like, oh, I decided I don't want to go. Or in the beginning they're like, hey, I'll have to get on a payment plan, and then you set up a payment plan and then I don't make the payment plan and then now all of a sudden it's final payment. What do I do? And now you're canceled. I get it. I understand. But again, only book a cruise if you are serious, especially with the group rates, because like I said, we only have limited group rates. And I'm very honest about what the estimated cost of things can be. So if you ask me like how much will flights cost? Of course, I can't give you an exact amount, especially like if we're talking a cruise for 2028 or even 2027. But I'll usually say, plan on 1,000 to 1,500 round trip. But then it always, becomes a surprise when it's time to plan those things. Uh The cruise trooper says we're going to be sailing in 30 days on Norwegian Loon. I can't wait. Well, I'll actually be on before you. I think we'll probably cross paths in the in the terminal. Actually, mine's not in 30 days. When is mine? Mine's in 2 weeks, so I'll be on board. Unlearn and eat travel says 14 days. Are we on the same sailing? I don't know. What day am I going? Oh, we might be on the same sailing. Yeah, 14 days. That's about right. Welcome in Jamaica. I appreciate you being here. Uh, let's see. The cruise trooper says make sure give the stream a like. Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Inspiring greater says your videos are always extremely detailed. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try. What editing software do you use or recommend for someone's interest or just getting started? I keep it simple. I started originally with iMovie, which is part of Apple. And now I use CapCut. So I do all of my vertical and horizontal content on CapCut. And like I said, my son is editing for me now, but when I do edit, it's from my phone. I don't have anything, no editing software on my computer because I'm so like always on the go. Even when I'm home, I'm on the go. And so it's easy for me to have my content in my phone. And, like I said, if my husband's driving us somewhere, I might be sitting there editing for a little bit, or if I have a break here or there, I'm editing. So it's easier for me to have everything on my phone. So CapCut is what I use. It's my go-to. Um, Cherie says, Heidi just returned from NCL Joy and it was great. Food was good, but specialty dining was phenomenal. Your video truly helped prepare me and calm my nerves. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that you had a good time. And that's the thing with Norwegian. I feel like, yeah, the food, and honestly, a lot of cruise lines, it seems like the quality of like the included food is not what it used to be. And maybe just because I cruise so much, I don't know. But I feel like sometimes the quality just isn't what it used to be. And it's because they want to get you to do the specialty dining, which I'm never against specialty dining. I love specialty dining, but it would be nice to have consistently good food across all cruise lines and not have to feel like you have to do specialty dining to get really good food. Patricia says, thank you for those answers. I'm looking forward to more information when the time comes. Absolutely. And I did just send an email. You should have got an email right when you booked. And did I send an email yesterday? I sent an email yesterday about the Norwegian Gym video. Yes. NCL has some group discount programs. Yes, they do. They do. But again, only if you have 8 or more cabins. And NCL's group discount program is 10% off the um, cruise fare, but not all cruise lines offer that. Not all. I will tell you this: if you book a Carnival group, your group rate is going to be actually slightly higher than the current prevailing rate, because they're pretty much charging you for any amenities or perks that you get. But I never book my guests at that rate. I book them at whatever the cheapest rate is, but they still can get the perks. So little tricks to that. But yeah, NCL is one that gives a consistent group discount, and it's 10%. And it might be 5% on interior. Uh, Shelby says, "Hi, my first live. Well, appreciate you being here, Shelby." Says, "I will be reaching out soon to help me plan a cruise for 2027. I'm a rookie. I would love to help you. Feel free to reach out when you're ready." Okay, Jeff says, I'm going on Explorer Journeys cruise, balling on a budget in my mid 30s. What is the crowd like? I'm all for balling on a budget, especially on Explorer Journeys. The crowd, it's very, very laid back. It is not a stuffy luxury. You probably will be one of the younger. I'm older than you. I'm a lot older than you, but I was probably one of the younger ones on board. But it's not. It probably attracts like an average age of about 55. So it's yeah, it's very, very laid back. So um not as many activities. You kind of have to make your own fun. It's truly a cruise to relax. Like I plan to take a few books. I rarely get a chance to read these days, so I'm taking a few books to read. I'm going to sit by the pool. I'm going to relax. I'm going to eat. I'm going to drink, and I'm going to read. That is my plan for this cruise. I will get off for the ports. But it's very laid back. People are very friendly. I had no issues when I was on board, but it is very, very laid back. So if you're somebody that likes a lot of ship activities and need back to back to back to back, they don't even honestly, I don't even recall having like an itinerary of ship activities. Like there's no app. They might have just put something in the cabin that would say like we're gonna have live music here at this time, but there wasn't a lot going on all the time, which I'm to the point now where I appreciate that. But have a good time. And guys, if you are planning Explore Journeys, I told somebody, actually, I had somebody transfer a reservation into me. We almost always have journey experience credits that you can get from our agency when you book. Journey experience credits can help cover your excursion, spa treatment, things like that. So like I had somebody transfer theirs into me this morning and they were able to get $380 of journey credits just because they transferred and then they transferred and then I have a group rate. So I'm trying to get them into that group rate as well. So if you're looking to book Explore Journeys, don't book it online. Don't book it on the website because you're going to almost always get that. Usually it's at least $200. Depends on the sailing. In this case, I think it was like 380 or whatever she got. So yeah, reach out. On the Go Yellow says agreed. The average traveler is looking for expert hands-on experience. Yes, for sure. Do you book land trips also or only cruises? Only cruises. My belief is like I'm as successful as I am because of what I do. And I only cruise, I only talk about cruising. I don't want to become an expert in all areas because I think it's hard to do. And my preferred mode of vacationing and traveling is cruising. And so that has helped me to, grow my base, grow my clients. So I plan to stick with that. I don't plan to add on land trips at all. That 2028 group cruise to Dubai is fantastic. It is. It really is. Let's see here. Kenneth, welcome in, says, Raquel, thank you for your transparency and engaging your family on this venture. Of As an average traveler, we have learned of your business and will be planning future cruises within your team. I appreciate that, Kenneth. Feel free to reach out when you're ready. We would love to assist. And thank you again for that super chat, super sticker. I appreciate that. Is it better to get travel insurance for the year versus per trip? Depends on how often you travel. Keep in mind, travel insurance will cover you. I think if you go, is it 100 miles outside of your home? So it doesn't have to be necessarily like a cruise or a land-based vacation to Mexico or whatever. It could be just you leaving, I think it's 100 miles. 100 miles from your home, it covers you. So for me, because I travel a lot, the annual policy just made sense because I would spend way more adding on insurance for each trip than if I just had the annual policy that would cover me to an extent. And then let's say if I have to dip into that, then I might add on a different policy or then start adding on the cruise lines insurance. But yeah, I would say it depends on how often you're traveling. Desiree says, I barely made it, but you made it. I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate the 204 that are watching. Thank you so much for being here. Barbara says, hi, how to get a good price on Icon? Um, if you're booking two guests in a cabin, we do often get discounted rates for certain cabin categories, for certain sailings, for Royal Caribbean ships across the fleet. So reach out. We would not have anything that's within 6 months of travel. But like if you're looking for 2027, we might have discounted rates on the week that you're looking at. So send us an email. Um, Please say that you are doing the new Luna for NCL. I am doing the new Luna for NCL. I really want to see that ship. Well, you'll see it in 2 weeks. I will be live. Can't wait to rent a yacht. I'm not renting a yacht. I'll just be on a yacht. Tara says, how's NCL Prima? That's actually my favorite so far NCL ship. NCL Prima. I love the food on board that ship, but it's been 3 or 4 years since I've sailed on it, so it's been a minute. But Luna is the sister ship to Prima, so you'll get an idea of NCL Prima through NCL Luna or NCL Aqua. Thank you so much, Katina, for being here. I appreciate that. Chickadee says, enjoy your vacation. You share so much with us cruises. And I am taking vacation. Like, I am truly, I say this and then I work. I am not working on this cruise as far as like sending out inquiries or running payments. My sister will be my backup if in the case of emergency. But yeah, I'm not working this. Guys, it's been a very, very thankful, very, very, very busy wave season. I'm just now starting to get a little breather. It's been nonstop working 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. every day since January 1st. So I'm just now getting to the point where I start work now probably around 9 o'clock and I end around 6. So, but still not done, but I'm thankful. Uh, Kiana says, I love seeing you on Explorer. Never seen you smile so much. Did you do a final recap on the line separately? I have not, and I will do one. I'm actually probably going to try to get that out before I get on board in a couple of weeks. But someone else said that they didn't see me smile so much. It was, guys, the food was good. The drinks were good. I just love the vibe. And I think at that moment I needed that. So yeah, I'm excited. Mama Tama says, just subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Um, Says, I think, is it Algeron? Says, I just got off the Celebrity Apex and I think it's a pretty ship. Yes. I have not sailed on Apex, but it is one of the nicer celebrity ships. Cruises forever says, I hope you're doing well. Just wanted to hop in and say I love your videos and information. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. INJ Monique this is a good question. Does Virgin still require sailors to have passports? Virgin has always said that passports are required, but that is not true. Um, Am I saying you should travel with passport? Yes, you should travel with a passport just because, especially in today's what's happening right now, you want to be safe and know that you're going to be able to, minus whatever issues currently happening with people getting their passports. Someone mentioned in the chat. I have to research that. But I would always recommend traveling with a passport, of course. But at the beginning, Virgin was very adamant that to cruise our cruise line, you must have a passport. That's not necessarily true. If you are a US citizen, and it's just like every other cruise line, they were trying to enforce something that I really think they couldn't enforce because you can't, you know, if the government is saying this is what's required, a cruise line can't come in and say, no, we're requiring this. So I think they kind of had a battle with that. They don't advertise that you can use an original birth certificate, but you can as long as you are a US citizen and your cruise starts and ends at the same US port. So if it starts in Miami and ends in San Juan, you cannot use a birth certificate. So if you're cruising with me next January on our sail with me, you cannot use a birth certificate. A passport is required. Also, if it stops in any ports like in the West Indies, such as like Martinique, Guadeloupe, anything like that, you cannot use a passport. But if it is a cruise that starts in Miami and it goes to Bimini Beach Club in Key West, yes, if you're a US citizen. It needs to be your original birth certificate, not a photocopy, not a picture of it. It needs to be your original birth certificate or a certified copy of it and your valid ID. But again, I would recommend having that passport, but check each itinerary is different. It is not required. They will keep saying it's required, but I've literally had people to cruise with birth certificates and license, not a problem. But again, it depends on your itinerary. Um, can I put two boys in the same cabin at 21 and 17 by themselves? Depends on the cruise line. It depends on if you're cruising with them. If they're 21, they can sail by themselves, but the 17-year-old cannot be in a cabin with a 21-year-old unless there's a 25-year-old on board as well. But it depends on the cruise line. If you're on board and you have a 21 and a 17-year-old, yes, they are fine. I'm trying to think if there's an exception. The 21-year-old is fine. The 17-year-old, depending on the cruise line, might have to be within a few doors of you or like across the hall or what have you. It's like they keep changing the minor policies with each cruise line. But yes, for the most part, 21 and 17-year-old can be by themselves as long as you're on the ship. Have you been on Icon? I have been on Icon. I was invited by Royal Caribbean when Icon first set sail. I have content on that one. Hi from amazing Northeast Ohio. Welcome, welcome. I am Jay Monique says you are a wealth of information. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you for viewing from YouTube. Thank you so much. I'll learn to eat says yes, May 23rd. That is it. That is it. Do you have a list of good hotels around the cruise port you recommend? I do, but then I don't. I have a list. I don't necessarily share this out, but whenever someone asks me for recommendations, I'll kind of use that as my go-to. But it changes because hotels change over time, and then you start looking at reviews. So I don't have like a solid list of like these are my top recommendations, only because they change. But I do have a list that I go off of, and then I kind of go back just to see some recent reviews before I tell people that yes, this is a good hotel to stay at, because it just changes all the time. It says, how was your starting months as a TA? Was there stuff you didn't know and questions you didn't have the answer to? How did you handle that if so? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff I didn't know, especially being a new TA. But being a travel agent, you have to be somebody that's willing to get out there and try to find the information. This is all self-guided, self-paced. Like people think you become a travel agent and you're going to have somebody walking you through. Let me say this, there's two different things: being a business owner and being a travel agent, because you can be a travel agent under someone else's agency or even under a company such as Expedia or even Carnival or whatever. But having your own business, which is what I have my own travel agency. I am a travel agent within my own travel agency, is a little bit different. So there's a lot that you don't know. There's still things I don't know. There's still times where I have to go out and find answers, or I have to, you know, I'm constantly relearning things, or, there's updates. So I'm constantly doing that. And so I feel like just kind of staying abreast on what's happening through like my host agency, through my affiliations with other organizations. So you have to constantly kind of be in the know on what's happening. So I don't think I know everything now. I mean, like I said, we operate a pretty successful agency, but I still don't think I know everything, and I still don't have the answer to everything. So thankfully, I have a network of people that I can reach out to. If I do have questions, I have really good connections with my business development manager. So if I need support, and because I only focus on cruising, I only have a small network of people that I need to reach out to. So that's helped me. Inspiring Greater says, Fantastica or Aria? Referring to MSC. If you guys don't know, MSC kind of has class systems when you book. So you have Bella, which is very basic, guaranteed cabin. Fantastica is where you can select your cabin. You get either early or late dining. You can cancel, get a full refund if you do so before final payment. You can make ship change after final payment as long as you do it within 30 days of your cruise. So there's rules there for Fantastica. Aria is beneath like Yacht Club. Aria, depending on the ship, will get you access to more preferred cabins, which will be midship. Sometimes they might have a slightly larger balcony. Some ships I will not recommend Aria because you're going to get that extended balcony that people can look down on. So be cautious on that. But Aria really doesn't get you a whole lot more than Fantastica, other than you get a preferred location on the ship, and then you get access to the top 19 or top 18 solarium, which varies depending on the ship. It's truly just a sun deck that has chairs that's, away from everyone else. If you need that, then maybe. Um, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Aria was worth it because it included some drinks, it included some Wi-Fi. It was kind of like Yacht Club, but not as elevated. But they changed it, so now you get like a sparkling bottle of champagne in your cabin. Um, Something else. But if you have a high status, like I get that naturally because I'm diamond with MSC, you might not need it. So I personally, I would almost always go Fantastica because it's a lot cheaper. Aria, if it's only a little bit more, I might do it, but only do it if you want that exclusive deck access. Maybe you want that sparkling wine, but for me, it's not necessarily worth it. Let's see here. Linda says, looking to book land and sea Alaska cruise. Oh, my land and sea. Yes, yes. We do have a land and sea a cruise tour next July. Gosh, Anthem of the Seas, Royal Caribbean. to think about that. We have a cruise tour plan, which if you guys aren't familiar with the cruise tour, that's where you cruise and you do a land portion either before or after your cruise. We are doing 3 days. Um, out of Alaska. I can't think of the itinerary off the top of my head right now. 3 days before the cruise, and then a 7 night cruise. So it's going to be a 10 night cruise tour to Alaska. It's going to be amazing. But if you're looking to do a cruise that starts in Hawaii and ends in Hawaii, there's only one option, and that is NCL Pride of America. That is the only ship that is doing that itinerary. And personally, when I get to Hawaii, I didn't say if, I said when I get to Hawaii, it will have to be on that ship because I refuse to go to Hawaii by taking a 14, 15 night cruise. That's only going to get me 3 ports. I would rather just fly to Honolulu and then do the inner islands that way. And NCL Pride of America is the only ship that does that. What are the ups and downs of traveling? For me, the biggest down for traveling is that right now, because I do this full time, a lot of times I travel without the family, and I don't like being away from the family or David Ruffin. So that is the biggest down for me. Outside of that, there really isn't. If the family could always come with me, I would probably always be on the go. I love to travel. The other down is because I do have some autoimmune issues and things. Sometimes I suffer from like chronic pain and things like that. So traveling sometimes can make that worse. Um, so that would be a down, but there are way too many ups or too many positives for traveling that, like I said, right now, the biggest thing is the family can't come with me for every trip. They come with me a lot, but not every trip. So that's, I have to limit what I do sometimes because of the family and because of their activities and this and that or whatever. But we're slowly getting to a point where that's going to be not so much because, Andrew's grown. He's still in the house, but he's here. Dice is graduating. He's going to be going off to college. Joe Marie's still elementary school, so we still have a few years for her. But once they're like, we may not ever be home. so, um, so yeah. So there's ups and downs. Let's see here. Are you able to book cruises with interline discounts? Yes. Um, Personally, I can, and then also if you are interline, meaning um, airline worker, USPS, things like that, then yes. What was it about cruising for you that made you so interested about cruising? I had never traveled. So this is the thing. People don't realize it. I came from a very, very poor home. I came from a very rich family in the sense of love and support. My parents, were married, they were together. My dad was retired military. But we were extremely poor growing up. So I didn't never get to travel. So my first big trip was my Carnival Sensation cruise back in 2019. That was the biggest trip that I had ever done. And that just showed me that, hey, there's so much of the world that I haven't seen or don't know about. And then we just went to Nassau and someplace else. So just being able to get up and go and do something outside of what I normally do, that just really sparked that love for me. I'm gonna go get. Oh, it's what 3:30, y'all. 10 more minutes, and I have to get out of here. Miss Faith says, if you booked a cruise from the cruise line, you already put your deposit down. Would you be able to switch your booking to a travel agent if your trip is in 2027? So it depends on the cruise line. You can transfer a reservation. A couple of things have to be true for that. First off, it has to have been booked directly through the cruise line. So it can't be through another travel agent or like a third party like cruises.com. It has to be booked either online through that online through the cruise company or over the phone with the cruise company. It cannot be paid in full, and it depends on how far out you booked it. So, 60 days would be Carnival if you booked it within the last 60 days, or maybe it's 90 days now. 60 days for Carnival, I think. You can transfer it. Royal Caribbean Celebrity, if you booked it within the last 30 days, you can transfer it. NCL, if you booked it within the last 14 days, you can transfer it. Disney Cruise Line, it's 30 days. So each cruise line has like a time frame for when you had to have booked it. So if you booked it last year, it's probably not eligible for a transfer. But if you are interested in transferring, send me an email. My email, I think, is there somewhere. Let me see if I can take this off the screen. Um, oh, that's my website. If you go to the website, you can get my email address. Then I can let you know if it's eligible for transfer and send that information to you. Um, is it DB says, why would a passport be needed if sailing and debarking in San Juan? Our group cruise Our group cruise next year, Virgin Voyages is not embarking and debarking in San Juan. It's starting in San Juan and ends in Miami, right? Yeah, I think ours starts in San Juan and ends in Miami. So if it starts and ends in San Juan, you're good as long as it doesn't visit Martinique, Guadeloupe, some of the ports in the West Indies, then you're fine. Um, but if it doesn't start and end in San Juan, then you're not fine. And I've actually known of people that have been denied boarding because they were trying to board a one-way cruise with a passport. I mean, sorry, with a birth certificate. They weren't my clients, but they reached out to me to ask questions. So, yeah. So yeah. So for our sailing, I'm almost positive it starts in San Juan and ends in Miami. In fact, I'm on a cruise. What cruise actually, I'm on Explore Journeys. The Explore Journeys cruise that I'm preparing to go on is the same way. It starts in San Juan and it ends in Miami. Let's see. Lydia says, I'm interested in Azamara, British Isle cruise for August 2028. How do I stay in the know for when they release the fall 2028 schedule? They don't ever, like, even travel agents, sometimes we don't know when the cruise lines announce it. Just know that typically it's about 2 years in advance. So if you're looking for August 2028, probably this summer is when you want to start looking to see the website. Usually it's about 2 years in advance they start releasing those itineraries. It says, I love seeing you go on other brands. It's a great eye opener for what's out there. Yeah, there's so many cruise lines out there. There's so many that I haven't tried. So yeah, I would try to get on as many as possible. I want to try Norwegian Cruise Line for the first time. Which ship would you recommend? I would recommend like Norwegian Prima, Norwegian Aqua, the new Luna that's coming out. One of the newer ships. You'll have a good time on some of the like the Breakaway, the Escape, but I would say some of the older ones I kind of hear very mixed reviews on. But I would say Prima, Luna, Aqua right now. Let's see here. It says, good afternoon. How are you doing? I'm planning to book our family cruise vacation in the summer. How can you help me find the best itinerary? Just complete the inquiry form on our website and we can assist you. It depends on, some people will say, I want the best itinerary, but they're looking for a 3 or 4 night cruise. Honestly, you're not going to have the best itinerary with that. Almost always a 3, 4 night cruise is going to go to the Bahamas, sometimes maybe Cozumel, Mexico. If you're looking for a 7 night cruise, most of the ones for the summer like aren't really that port intensive, but you can get to like San Juan, St. Thomas, you get to some other ports. So the best itinerary depends on where you're trying to go and the length of your cruise. But if you complete our inquiry form on our website, we will follow up with you. Um Kenneth says, we've enjoyed the Celebrity Beyond and Ascent, two different vibes based on your taste, ready for other international ports. Yes, I totally love going abroad. That is like my new thing. I want to go abroad and see as much as I can. It says, yes, I agree about the 5 to 60 days. It's not desirable for Hawaiian cruise. Yeah, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, same here. Didn't travel as a youngster. People don't believe me. Like the most we traveled, which I was thankful for, was we would get in, a car, our whole family, and we would go to Maryland to visit my grandma. We would go to the beach. That was really it. Where's the Alaskan group cruise? I don't see it on your website. It's not. Someone else pointed that out to me. I will get it uploaded today. So if you check back tomorrow, I'll have it uploaded. But it is on Anthem of the Seas. The Anthem of the Seas cruise is July 30th through August 6th of 2027. The land portion is the 27th through the 30th. We will be going through like Kenai Fort. It is a one-way cruise because you pick it up in, where are we picking it up? I don't remember. Check the website in the morning. I will have it posted. Someone else had asked me about why it wasn't up there. I will post that. So check back. Alicia Rose says, are you going to try Carnival's Africa sailings? Which country would they go to? No, I'm not. This is why. Because Carnival advertised these sailings as African cruises. They are not African cruises. It's a Mediterranean cruise that has one stop in either Morocco or Tunisia, which is northern Africa. Nothing wrong with those ports. I have not been to Morocco yet. I have been to Tunisia. But the way it was advertised, I didn't really care for, because for me, it's like, you're not going to find both of those on one itinerary. It's one or the other. And I think there's only a handful of those itineraries even available. So I had so many people questioning me and asking, hey, I want to book this Africa cruise. or African cruise. It's not, I would not consider that an African cruise. It's a Mediterranean cruise with a stop in northern Africa. If you're truly looking for an African cruise that's going to have multiple stops in Africa, which I have yet to do, I will do at one point. There's other cruise lines that you can look into, such as like Azamara. There are some river cruises there. MSC does Africa. So I would, look at those. So for me, it's like those types of destinations. I don't want it to be just advertise that boom, we have one port stop and we're calling this an African sailing, because for me it's not. But I get it. Some people would book that cruise because they have comfort in cruising Carnival and they want to get to Africa, or say that I stepped foot on Africa. I totally get it, and I say go for it. For me, that doesn't work because I don't want just the one port. I want multiple stops. The website is majoradventurestravel.com, and it should be right there at the bottom. www.majoradventurestravel.com. Inspiring Greater says you don't do flights, correct? I do not. We do not book flights. And I've shared multiple reasons why. Very transparent about it. One is that flights are like the biggest headache. I do have some clients that are like older, that have like never traveled. They just need some extra support with that. I will assist them with helping, plan their flights, but I'll have them book it on their own. Or even some people that have never cruised abroad, just need help trying to figure out mapping it out. I'll help with that, but I won't book them. Because if I'm traveling, I travel a lot. If I'm traveling and there's an issue, a flight delay, cancellation, whatever, then the airlines require that the travel agent handles it, and I'm not always available to handle it like on call. We are a small agency, so I just don't have that backup to be able to do that. And airlines don't pay any commission. And with flights, a lot of times you quote flights and people aren't ready to pay, and then you have to keep requoting them, and it changes all the time. And then it's more of a headache than anything. But I do understand that there are some, and I've honestly lost a few clients because of that. And that's perfectly okay, because I'm very honest about what I do, what I can and cannot do, and what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. But anyone that really needs that support, I don't mind sharing recommendations for them to book on their own. Let's see here. Welcome in, Big Murph. Appreciate you being here. Says, what's the difference between a regular interior cabin on Carnival versus Cloud9 Spa? They're offering me an upgrade. Big Murph. Yes, I would take the upgrade. Let me tell you why. So you get access, since you're going to be on Carnival Celebration. They have a really nice thermal spa, and you get access to the thermal spa. So the interior cabin, depending on the upgrade cost. So the interior cabin will give you a thermal spa access, so you can go to the thermal spa area anytime you want. You'll also have Elemis products in your cabin, which, that's like the spa stuff that they use. They'll have that instead of the regular soap. And I don't really care for that because I take my own stuff. But that'll be in your cabin. You'll have like a different decor. So it's not a whole lot, but if the price is, let's say, $100 more than what you're paying on a 7-night cruise for the thermal spa, just for the thermal area, it's like two something, 250, 260. So if it's $100 or so upgrade, I would say go for it. If you're going to use the thermal area. If you don't feel like you're going to use the thermal area, then I wouldn't. But I will tell you that Celebration was probably one of the thermal areas that I use pretty regularly. And that just reminded me that I need to get a pass. Let's see here. All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to get up out of here. I know New Orleans is a land and sea trip. Do you have any other land and sea trips coming up? I don't, but I'm considering one actually. So if you guys followed, I did a land and sea Brazil. I'm looking at something like that because I really enjoy doing that. And I know people were asking because I did, if you guys didn't follow, I did like 2 or 3 days in Brazil or in Rio de Janeiro. And then I took a short cruise. So I am looking to do some more of those. And I might open it up for people to join. Hello from Ireland. Well, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. All right. On the go, the says take the upgrade. Yeah. Yeah. The upgrade. Yeah. I would take it. Do you know of any travel agencies or content creators that focus on assisting disabled travelers and cruisers? We do. We assist anyone that has special needs, special requirements, accessibility. Most travel agents will. Some are certified in it. So yeah, we definitely, I wouldn't go to a content creator. I mean, I am a content creator, but I wouldn't go to a content creator expecting them to help you with those things. I would go to a travel agent who might be a content creator, that can assist you with those types of things. But when you're talking about assistance, that assistance wouldn't be like personal assistance in the sense of going traveling with you, but it would be more so, what resources do the cruise lines offer, or if it's land based, what do they offer that can help support with what's needed. There are some other agencies where you can book and plan trips and cruises, like Autism on the Seas, where you can join other people that might have a support team on board that can assist. But as far as working with a travel agent, it will be more so that these are the resources and things that the cruise line can offer. Let's help get this arranged for you, that kind of thing. Oh, we're at the bottom of the chat. All right, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. It's been a long time. But I appreciate you guys all being here. Let's see what's up next. So the next vlog that'll come out will be the second part of Norwegian Gem. That will be out hopefully Wednesday. That's kind of my plan. Next Monday, there is a live stream scheduled. I'm going to cancel that when I end this. I will not be doing this live next Monday because I'm going to be going live on Carlene See It with C's, her she does a Monday, what does she call it? Oh, what does she call it? She does a Monday live stream as well, but hers is in the evening. And so I'll be going live over there with my fellow creators, who will be hosting with me the Land and Sea New Orleans trip, so we can kind of just talk, chat about that, answer some questions. We have quite a few people booked and people that are interested in getting booked, so we want to kind of provide information that way. So I'm going to go live there. Um, what else? What else is coming out? I think that's about it for now. Last question says, how do you feel about gambling on the ships in hopes of receiving incentives like free cruises? I mean, I personally, oh, hold on. Did I miss some questions? Do you know? Hold on. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm not too big on spas, but the cost is 112 to upgrade. The new cabin will be on deck 5, so it'll be lower. If you're not really going to use a spa, I wouldn't upgrade. Even for that price, I wouldn't. Uh, Shamika says, land and sea. Yeah, I think you are booked. I think so. Australia just booked our first cruise in Messy Maravilla. Have a great time. Monday meetup. Thank you. I'm like, Monday something. Thank you, Team Reese. Monday meetup. Yes, that's what it's called. Monday meetup. And I think we're doing it at 8 p.m. I think she normally goes live at 8 p.m. Eastern. How do you feel about gambling on the ships? I personally don't gamble on the ships in the hopes of getting a free cruise, but if it happens, wonderful. It does happen from time to time, or you get discounted rates, but I don't go in it with that mindset. There are some people that do. Um, if you can do it and do it right, it works in most people's favors, because what people don't understand is if you start getting free offers, it's not just one offer. A lot of times you'll get multiple offers from the same cruise line and you can book multiple sailings. So like I have clients that, they might get, 5, 6 free cruises and they book all of them out because, you don't know when they're going to retract those offers. So you might have gambled $500-600, but now you have 5 or 6 cruises to show for it. So I don't give gambling advice. I have had free cruises or discounted cruises by going into the casino, but it's not anything I would ever recommend because it's not guaranteed. Thank you so much, Inspiring Greater says, let's all click the like button. I appreciate that. Let's see. All right, let me get out of here. Oh, Curling just popped in. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, she got here just in time. So next week, Monday, 7 p.m. Guys, we had over 200 people here. Let's see if we can get you guys all over there. Carlene's live stream to learn more about this land and sea trip that we have planned. It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, she said, I can't believe they still have me working today. I know. I know. Welcome in, Makai. I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. We went an hour and 45 minutes. I appreciate you guys being here. I will be going live on TikTok. If you aren't following me on TikTok, go ahead and follow over there. I'm going to go live one day this week. Whenever I have a little bit of downtime, I'm just going to pop up. So appreciate you guys being here. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Again, if you are looking to get on one of our group cruises, if you go to the website right there on the bottom of the screen, you can go to the groups tab. You can see all of the group cruises we have planned, including more information about the land and sea trip. I will add the Alaska one on there right when I end this. And I will see you guys next Monday over on Carlene's Monday I forgot it already. Monday meetup. So you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys next Monday. Take care.